Hey, what's up guys, it's Josh Boosters here with a very special video today. This weekend, as I'm sure you know if you clicked on this video, the global release webcam event for Digimon TCG was held. They played, I think it's 2 events on every continent basically, where the English game was just released. One on Saturday and one on Sunday. And I actually played in the Saturday European event, which I actually managed to top. So I topped my very first official Digimon tournament. I'm very happy with it. I thought the event was really cool. It was quite different from what I expected, to be honest. But I will get into that a little bit more at the end of the video. Basically this video I'm gonna do my deck profile, of course. And then at the end of the video I'm gonna talk about the tournament experience, the matchups, and just my overall thoughts basically. And now I can basically hear you think, right? What deck did you play? And I'm gonna be honest guys, people said it was trash, it's the worst deck. I said it was the worst deck if you're one of the 7 people that watched my color discussion video. But I guess I was wrong, because the deck I managed to top 16 the webcam event with was Great Value Green. So yeah guys, just before I get into the actual deck profile, I'd like to talk a little bit about why I choose to play green in the end. Like basically, I did have access to all the decks, so if I wanted to, I could have played Omnimon Blue, mostly because my friends who I'm playing this card game with, they actually didn't or couldn't participate in the tournament, so I could have borrowed some of their cards to basically round out all my deck cores. But I just really wanted to play a deck I really enjoyed, and basically green and black are like my favorite colors to play with right now. And then, in the end, I decided to play this because I just really enjoy the whole low memory control mechanic, basically. And I really think it's cool how green gets rid of your opponent's Digimon by actually battling them instead of using card effects. I just think that's like a fun, cool mechanic. And yeah, that's basically it. I'd also like to point out that in the graph, there is like a graph I will be talking about in a bit, and they thought I played Diaboromon Black because of the deck profile, I think. So that is pretty funny. Check that out if you haven't, by the way. But yeah, let's just get into this cool green deck profile. As you can see, my pick for the DigiX was basically Tanemon, just because this deck it doesn't cost any memory basically to start evolving and go into your big guys. So you will get the plus 1000 DP boost pretty much every turn. And then while the Frymon is really good by giving you 2000 DP, it's only when your opponent has 2 suspended Digimon in play, and that just won't always be the case. More often than not, it won't be the case. So that's why I decided that Tanemon was probably the better one of the 2 to play. Yeah, after the tournament, I think I still agree with this ratio. Yeah. So this is for the DigiX, 1 Frymon and 4 Tanemon. Then for the rookies, I played 4 Tentomon, which I think is basically the best one. It's worked with the mechanic I talked about earlier, where it helps suspend your opponent's Digimon, like mostly the small Digimon, 3000 DP or less, when you attack, and then you can suspend one of them, and then you can basically run it over with one of your other Digimon. So this is probably the best rookie in the deck, the best level 3. Then I also played 4 of the Agumon, which just has the simple inheritable ability where it gives plus 1000 on your turn. So it just makes your guys bigger, makes the chance of them dying to security attacks reduced. And this is also one of the cards that helps you out Omnimon if it's suspended with the Tidemon. Then a lot of people give this card flag basically, Palmon, and I get why, because it works against the entire mechanic of green, where you try to give your opponent the least amount of memory possible, because it only has an on-play effect and it costs 3, so that's pretty high. But I still think its effect is just really good. Like, it prevents you from bricking, and you'll see that most games you lose are the games you can't play, and this just helps prevent that. But I think I might actually in the future swap out one of these for one of my last rookie, which was the Gobbly one, which is just the 3000 DP vanilla basically, but it is to play, and in the late game it's just really good to start playing your rookies to force your opponent's security basically. So yeah, I played 15 rookies, which is I think a little bit more than, I think 14 is basically the standard, but I decided to play 15 because I really didn't want to brick on having no rookies. But as you'll hear later, that didn't exactly work out. And I think this ratio was mostly fine. Then moving on to the level 4s, we have the entire playset of what in my opinion might be the best level 4 in the game. Which is Kabuterimon, 1 to evolve, which is like the green team, right? You evolve just for really low costs. With this set, it's like a lot of 1 and 2 drops, but you'll see with set 1.5, we get the download mechanic, which is really cool. This basically gives, during your turn, the Digimon on top of it 1000 DP for each of your opponent's suspended Digimon, so your guys can get really, really big if they're built with Kabuterimon. And then for the other 1 to evolve, I played 3 Vegemon. Yeah, I was pretty happy with this ratio. I would usually get to one of these to be able to leave my opponent on the least amount of memory, so that was nice. Also, it has 6000 DP, which is like not that bad for a level 4. And then just to have some defensive options, I did play a set of the Woodmon, which is the blocker for green. And then to round out the level 4s, I did play Togemon. It's a little bit like the Palmon, the evo cost isn't that high, 2 to evolve is fine, and then it just helps you dig for a level 5 or higher, so it really helps you make your setup when evolving. I was pretty happy with this ratio. So that's it for the level 4s. Then for level 5s, I played a set of Akuamon, which as an inheritable gives the Digimon on top of it. If it destroys a Digimon, you gain 1 memory. So that's pretty good, really works well with the next card, which is Lilymon. Basically, if you manage to establish 2 level 6s, one with Akuamon, one with Lilymon, you usually go like swing the one with the Lilymon into the security, and then suspend your one of your opponent's Digimon, and then with the other level 6 you run into their suspended Digimon and gain 1 memory. I think this card's absolutely insane, to be honest. It really helps you get rid of your opponent's little guys while you're setting up yourself. Yeah, Lilymon's just amazing. And then I played one random Cherrymon, which is the level 5 blocker for green. To be honest, it didn't really come up, but I just wanted to have some defensive options. Mostly, like in the late game when the game set gets really complicated, it's quite important you do have the option at least to drop a blocker to not be randomly attacked out of the game even while you seem to be in control. So that's why I thought 5 blockers in the deck, so 4 Woodmon and 1 Cherrymon was pretty good. So yeah, that's 9 level 5s, and then for the level 6, basically this is the boss monster of the deck, which is Tynamon, which is vanilla, 2 to evolve, 12,000 DP Digimon, which just gets really powerful with all the inheritables from the green effects. Like at one point I actually swung into an Omnimon with this to destroy it. It was that big. And then if, like I talked about, like if you have 2 of these with the Lilymon and the Akuamon, and then they might also be boosted by cards like Agumon, or you can suspend more Digimon with Tentomon. This card is just really, really insane. And then to work with all the suspension, I did play actually 2 Puppetmon. So funnily, like evolving into this actually isn't that bad in this deck. Like with the attack you get 1 memory, but you'll see that most of the time you're just gonna suspend your opponent's entire field with Flower Cannon and the inheritable abilities, and then to finish off your turn, you're just gonna play the Puppetmon, so none of their Digimon can get unsuspended in the next turn, basically, and that will usually allow you to finish the game or prevent your opponent from finishing the game against you. So this card was really good, even though the cost can be a little high, and in some matchups that might actually lose you the game, but it was good more often than it was not for me. And then for the last level 6, I decided to last minute play one Hercules Kabuterimon, just with all the suspension. If you have a Tidamon with Lilymon under it and the Hercules Kabuterimon with Okuamon under it, that's just like an insane combination, because you can swing into security, suspend something, then this can swing into the suspended Digimon and do piercing damage. And then actually twice per turn you can pay 3 memory to unsuspend this Digimon so you can attack again. And I actually won, I think, like the most insane match I played by using that effect. So I'm really glad I decided to play this last moment over Rosemon, which I was playing before, but yeah, I guess the best offense is actually just a good offense instead of a good defense. So yeah, this card was pretty good. I did really like him. You can usually I would just keep it in hand for when I really thought it would seal the game, and yeah, that was pretty good. And then for the last cards, I did play 3 of the Flower Cannon. I actually had a really close game against Omnimon Blue, where this was, I think, my like my last or second to last security, and basically when he hit that won me the game, because I could suspend his last unsuspended Digimon, and then I'll just field it on the next turn. And this card will also just help you finish off the game sometimes when your opponent has a bunch of blockers and has to put you on a lot of memory. You can just go like Flower Cannon, and then wipe out their remaining security. This card is actually just insane, really works well with the entire Destroy by Battle mechanic of green. So that's it for the options. And then for the last 3 cards, this might seem a little bit weird, but I decided to play 2 Mimi and 1 Izzy for the Tamers. I was not 3 Mimi before, but it just gets so redundant when you have multiples of this. Even though the effects obviously this is undoubtedly the best tamer in the game. Like, if you don't know, if you hatch a Digimon and then bring it out later in the turn with the Mimi effect, you can also even attack with that Digimon. So that's absolutely crazy. Then I decided to swap the last Mimi for the Izzy, and if you set this up, it generates a bunch of advantage, because you basically get an additional draw each turn. The only thing that's a bit rough with these cards is like, they're only good when you're already setting up, basically, so when you already have the level 5 or higher, but I don't think that's a reason not to play them, because they are just absolutely insane. So yeah, that's my green Evo value deck, or green great value, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I guess we're just gonna go talk about the tournament and talk about the matchups now. So yeah, guys, that's it for the deck profile. I hope you really enjoyed that and enjoyed like my explanation and stuff. And now I just want to talk a little bit about the tournament, basically, some of the rules, some of the things that I expected and I was maybe incorrect about. So basically, I'm really happy with how the tournament flowed. It was really well organized. They used time rules where it was like you had 50 minutes to play the round, and then after those 50 minutes you got 3 turns to resolve the game, and then if the game wasn't resolved, that game would be a result in a draw. And then also you had 5 minutes to play those 3 turns, and if you couldn't do that in those 5 minutes, it will also be a draw. So basically it's like a combination of the old Yu-Gi-Oh! Time rules and the new ones, and I thought it worked really smoothly. Like, all the rounds were about 1 hour, so the tournament didn't drag on or anything, and that was really good. I also just think those time rules are pretty, they are fair, so that's what I really liked. And then basically about all the games themselves, to be honest, I expected the tournament to be a little bit more casual, since the game is still new. not that easy to get all the good cards, but as you'll hear in my little story about the matchups later, I actually played basically 4 top meta decks, and 3 of them were actually the only one blue deck. And you'll also see, I'll bring up like a graph made by Chris. He basically put the top cut, the 10 best performing decks of the Saturday European event in a graph, and you'll see that Only One Blue was super heavily represented. I think it was like 50% of the top 8 actually. I'm not sure how much in the top 16. But to be fair, like Only One Blue did not win the event. The first place actually went to Gallenmon Red, so that is pretty cool. And then there were some other cool decks in the top cut, like I think Rookie Rush, who actually the guy who designed the graph, he played that deck. And I think there was like another Gallenmon, and then my green deck. I think I was the only green deck that topped, sadly. But yeah, I'll just like run you through the matchups. So in round 1, I actually played a green mirror match. His build was a little bit different though. He told me that he couldn't get all the cards he wanted to play basically, so he just built a deck with the cards he had. And he played like a green deck with the boss monsters being Rosemon and Hercules Kabuterimon. And he ran cards like Tyrannomon and Jagamon in his deck to basically get those faster. Yeah, those games weren't that special. I won that match 2-0. I think my deck was just a little bit more efficient in the entire evolving thing and using memory, and I just outsped him basically. So yeah, that was the first round. Then the second round actually I played against Omnimon Blue. I think this player also, I think he got 12th or something. So he played Omnimon Blue, but to be honest I was very lucky in this round because the first game he didn't see any rookies for like the first 3 turns, so basically when he finally got to a rookie and when he could go into his Omnimon, it was too late. I could just like swing my Taitamon with 15,000 DP because of Agumon, Kabuterimon, Tanemon into the Omnimon to out it, and he just, after that he basically couldn't come back. And then game 2 was basically the same story. My hand was just good, he didn't have a rookie, so that was just the end for that. Then round 3 I played against a green mirror match, so he also played like the Taitamon a great value deck. This game was actually insane. I think I don't remember my opponent's name, but he was really good, and it was my first time playing the green mirror match with the same build, so it was kind of hard because basically at some point I decided to go for the first swing to take out his Digimon with the Lilymon effect and stuff. But then I left him with his own Taitamon and he could like out my board basically, so we ended up in like an enormous grind game. I think at some point his field was literally like 2 Taitamon, 2 Puppetmon, Rosemon and Woodmon, but he had one security left and he put me on 10 memory. So I could evolve up into Hercules Kabuterimon, and then basically I took his last security with it. I attacked again, he had to block it with the Woodmon, and then that triggered my Okuamon effect to gain 1 memory, and that left me with exactly 3 memory to perform the final attack and finish the game. So that game was absolutely insane. I honestly didn't think I would win that. And then the second game, yeah, I think he didn't draw a rookie for the first 2 turns, and I just started to set up and basically he just scooped because he knew there would be no coming back from that. But a really good player, so yeah. And then in round 4 I played against a really good player as well. I played against Omnimon Blue. I think the first game we both had like decent hands, but I could just make really efficient use of my my memory, and I just kept putting him on just 1 memory to play with, and in the end I just outsped him with that and finished the game. Then game 2 was actually the first game I lost in the tournament. I think my hand was fine, but his hand was just a little bit better. Like he could drop Omnimon pretty early on, and at that point he just had too much resource and could do too much memory for me to come back. And then in the third game I think it was a little bit just like the first game. Like, he didn't have a bad hand per se, like he had a rookie, he could start ramping, but my deck was just faster and I could keep putting him on one memory to win the game with. So, yeah, at that point I was 4-0. I also had the best resistance of all the players, so it was looking pretty good for me to top the event anyway. And then the fifth one was pretty unlucky. I played against Omnimon Blue again, but in the first game I only saw rookies, and I saw like I think 3 level 4 or something, one of them being Togemon. So I went to do the Togemon and then I just didn't hit anything, so I couldn't go up in levels, and I think I had Izzy and Mimi, so I couldn't make use of those. That were just dead cards, and then I just decided to scoop at some point. And maybe, to be fair, I could have played the game a little bit differently and played a little bit more rookie rush, but I didn't, and I lost. And then the second game, I drew no rookie actually for the entire game, I think, and he just started ramping up into his Omnimon. He had like a super good hand on the first turn. I think he ended his first turn on like a Plesiomon or something, entirely evolved up, and I just I think I just scooped because I literally couldn't do anything. And then in the last round I played against Purple, which was a nice change of pace from all the blue Omnimon. Game 1, my deck just did what it did, and the purple deck has a real tendency to put you on a lot of memory because they use the cards like Chimeramon, Trump Sword, etc. And he did that, so I could just keep valuing all my low evo stuff, and I just... the game was really good though. It was a really fun game, very interactive, but I already felt pretty much in the mid game like it would be really hard for him to win, and he just couldn't keep up at some point. And then the second game, I drew no rookie again, so 15 rookies, no rookie again, and he did, so basically I just lost. And then the last game actually ended up being a draw, but to be honest I would have lost the last game for sure, because again I didn't get a rookie until like my 5th turn or something. So I just had to keep hard playing level 4s. I also didn't have any level 5s, level 6. I just had level 4 monsters, so I had to keep playing those. And he just had like all the tools, but basically he couldn't finish the game in time. And then literally as he was about to go for like the last 2 attacks, it was time. And I think we were one of the last tables, and the judges were watching, so they declared it a draw basically. So my final record was 4-1-1 because after round 6 one of the XO players I think lost his down pair, so that's why the tournament ended immediately as soon as there was one undefeated player. So after round 6 that was the case, and the tournament was over. So I ended up in the top 16. Top 16 was the cutoff for this event, basically because extra pricing was given to the top 16, so that's why I consider it like that. I think I was a little bit unlucky, especially in the last game. I feel like if I drew a rookie in either of the last 2 games, I would have probably won, because I think the green value deck has a really good matchup against purple. So that was a bit unlucky, but I'm unsure if I should play 16 rookies in the next tournament, but I might, who knows. Just overall the experience was absolutely amazing. All my opponents were really nice. Some of them were also super good players. Like I'm sure the Omnimon player I lost to and the purple player I lost to or drew with were also really good, but I just couldn't get a real good experience from the game since I just had nothing, so they didn't really have to show off their skill. But especially like the green player in round 3 and the blue player in round 4 were really good. Yeah, it was a 92-person event, so not that big, but I still think it was a pretty good accomplishment for my first tournament, and I hope you guys really enjoyed the deck profile. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, you know the deal. And I'll be back with more Digimon content pretty soon. Bye!